Well, hello, and how's everybody doing? It is February 7th. It's a Wednesday. You know, that's RambleCast time. And I'm your host, Cody Toombs, and with me I've got Corbin Davenport.
Hello.
So, it's it's a slow news week. I mean, well, for tech. Like, outside of the release of, everybody getting their hands on a Vision Pro, not much else seems to have happened. A few things. But yeah, Vision Pros happened. We kind of talked about it a lot last week. Well, I did. Um, yeah, it was an interesting release. People seem to have taken away from it that it's a good opportunity to do something really stupid for views. Otherwise, it's an iPad that floats.
Yep. I wrote a short take about it that we might get to a little bit later. But yeah, I don't have any like massive thoughts about it because I don't have one, because it's a Gen 1 product and it's 3 of my rent payments. So don't really feel like blowing that right now.
Yeah. I mean, actually, we could just jump straight to that topic. That'd be fine.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's just to hit my basic thoughts on it up front. So far, the only people I've noticed who are particularly happy with it are either clout chasing or they're YouTubers getting views. And judging by Marquez's views, he's making money. He's making back his investment on this thing, which, as far as I can tell, actually, I don't think he ended up paying for his. Because a couple of the comments he made suggest that Apple just gave him one. But aside from that, and I could be wrong. I'm not saying for sure, but it just sort of seemed that way.
Yeah. I mean, I've one friend who got it and he seems to like it, but
yeah, and I haven't heard anybody say they
thoughts about
don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think if you were that excited about it to buy it, I think probably more likely to like it. I don't know. It depends on. Yeah, I guess there isn't really a more likely to get people who would want it in this very early release, where like you have to actually go to like an Apple store and size it up to buy one. It's more of a process, so you're not going to get a whole lot of like impulse purchases at this stage.
Yeah, and actually, I don't remember hearing if they've sold out completely, but I do kind of wonder.
I don't know. I mean, even if they did, that probably doesn't say much because I'm sure their yields are really low right now.
Well, if I remember, they set a specific limit. They're only going to make, I think it was 80,000 units. I'm assuming that it's probably 80,000 plus whatever, like early press units and prototypes and, extra parts and so on and so forth. But yeah, supposedly they were limiting it to a specific number of units for their first gen, and that's it. So in theory, if they run out in 5 days or they run out in 6 months, it doesn't matter. Though part of me thinks that if they were to run out in 5 days, Apple would be like, you know what, knock knock knock, can we spin off another, say, 500,000 units or something?
Yeah. So yeah, I wrote a short blog post that was basically just saying like my big issue with this stuff right now isn't really the price necessarily. Like, I get why it's that expensive. There's literally not another thing like this right now. My issue is more like the fact that it's the Vision Pro is very much based on the iPad architecture and the operating system, so it has inherited all the limitations of that, while adding more limitations because of the form factor. So it's incredibly restrictive for something Apple is pushing as like a productivity device somewhat on par with the Mac. I think that's kind of the sell. It's more than like more productivity than an iPad for sure, because it's supposed to be like you get more space to work with. Um, but I kind of mentioned in here, and I that the Vision Pro, on top of everything that the iPad is limited by, which is no unlocking the bootloader, no side loading, no third party web browser render engines. Everything else Apple won't allow in the App Store, like emulators. All that stuff is still there, with the added issue now of there's no USB port or like headphone jack or anything else on this headset. There is I believe it's $300 replacement strap that has a USB port on it, but that is mostly intended for app developers who are making apps, so they can get like a little bit faster like side loading response time and that kind of stuff. So like your $3,500 face computer, if someone hands you a flash drive at work, you're just screwed. There's nothing to do there. Hopefully you have an iPhone or an iPad or a real computer nearby to help you copy that file to cloud or something.
It just occurred to me that's not that this hasn't already been a problem with iPhones, but if you take a video using the Vision Pro with its notoriously kind of crappy camera, that means you also can't move the video off over a cable. It has to go wireless.
You got to cloud or AirDrop it, yeah. And like that was, and again, the USB stuff was also a limitation with iPhones and iPads for forever. Before USB-C, there was just like the shitty camera adapter things that didn't really work all that well. So, maybe they'll get fixed later. I'm sure some of the limitations will be addressed because that's just how technology works. But I'm not expecting like side loading unless like governments intervene, because that's what it took for the iPhone. And I kind of looped in the Meta Quest headsets in here too, because that's what I have experience with. And the Quest is like a little bit more open. They all have USB-C ports and headphone jacks, so you can plug in like controllers and storage, and plug the headset into a computer to copy files over. It does technically have side loading, but it's not as easy as Android side loading. They make you register for a free developer account before you can do it. And I tried to do that with my account and it's not working. And I asked Meta support to fix it a month ago, and they're still working on it. So I would not consider that open. So the Quest is a little bit better, but still not really. So it's annoying that kind of the two big players in this emerging ecosystem, platform, whatever, are more restricted than like most phones and tablets, which in turn are more restricted than computers. And that's I'm all iPhone, iPad now, unfortunately. And like I don't really care there, because it's a phone. And also my iPad the screen's too small to actually do work on it, so I don't really care there. I'd like emulators on it, that's about it. The rest of the limitations aren't really an issue for how I use it. But with the Quest, with the Vision Pro, which is supposed to be more of like a standalone computing thing, like it's not even really for like VR games or anything like that, it's less acceptable to me. With the Quest, like there's not even like really a good software platform, and like the underlying framework for like there to be something better. So I can't be like, man, it stings my Quest can't be a computer, because like, yeah, it's like an Android tablet on my face that where Meta hasn't really like put in the work to make it a good app platform. But I don't know, just a little bit annoying with these products.
So, there are obviously a lot of things to complain about there, and what strikes me is not only is the platform locked down, it's actually extremely locked down. The thing that obviously is getting highlighted this week is let's see, I've got a post here from the Daily Beast, which just happens to be a suitable choice for this. But people are highlighting that you can't watch adult content on the Vision Pro. Now, technically, you kind of can. Like, it's not blocking the sites. It's blocked, or it doesn't support the 3D technology that is used by all of the platforms. So there's still Safari, but yeah, Safari doesn't have the like different. As far as I know, it doesn't have like the different video modes you need to like. It doesn't have WebXR. Yeah, that's the problem. Which I think is coming at some point, but yeah, that seemed like one of the less important issues. But I guess in terms of like, again, things Apple doesn't allow in the App Store, there's many things in there that I would like. Emulators, maybe a Linux terminal, I don't know, put that in there. Yeah, that'd be cool. Obviously, not only do they block different web rendering engines, but they also happen to block anything that would be able to do much here. So you can't just get like a separate WebXR interpreter or something like that. So yeah, the ability to work around in any sort of capacity this limitation, it basically doesn't exist. So yeah, it's just the growing issue with Apple being a generally locked down company that doesn't allow certain things to get past, and as it turns out, this is another one of those fun side effects. But yeah, it strikes me just I don't think I've heard of anyone complaining about their Vision Pro per se, but I've certainly heard plenty of people saying, I wish it did more. Which, for a first generation device, that's not an unreasonable thing to expect. But yeah, also for something that costs $3,500, you certainly wish you would be more than justified in being surprised at how many things it doesn't allow or doesn't support. Yep. Let's see. Oh, interesting. Sorry, just got a strange notification I didn't expect. Austin, you want to be locked down? Okay. Cool. Vote for Trump. Kidding. Don't. No one should ever. Anyway, so yeah, did you have much else to say from your post?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Except that the space bar passed 200 email subscribers today on exactly the 6th anniversary of the site going up. So that's cool.
Congratulations. You have surpassed my subscriber count on this channel.
Just a bit, yeah.
Huh?
Just a bit.
Yeah, literally by 7.
I'm glad that joke worked because I had no idea how many subscribers you have.
Yeah, it's at 193 now.
Well, I'm doing my part. I post that I'm live here on all the places. So
Truthfully, I don't think I've ever, well, not in the last like year and a half, I don't think I've gained a single subscriber during a RambleCast stream. It's always the gaming streams.
yeah, we're the this is the legacy platform. You know, this is just sticking around to keep the lights on. You know, if you're keeping the lights on here, the real growth is elsewhere.
Isn't that how it always is?
The RambleCast is truly the dial-up of Cody's mind space. We're just, here because we're needed by a couple people.
My goal is to one day do for YouTube tech podcasting what Jon Stewart did for politics when he took over the Daily Show. I'm gonna be the one source everybody trusts.
Yep.
Yeah, no, not even happening. I don't even trust myself. But yeah, so anyway, cheers to the space bar and 200 subscribers.
Yes, email subscribers. I don't know how many are on other things. I know there's some who are like, yeah, I added you to my RSS reader, so that's cool.
I mean, that's
what
fair.
I do. I don't subscribe to any email stuff. I RSS everything.
Yeah, personally, I much preferred RSS back in the days when I actually used it. I kind of stopped using it entirely because so many sites did RSS wrong.
Yeah.
That it just kind of stopped being the option for me. That, and with the shutdown of Reader ages ago, that really killed it. I kind of tried moving on to Feedly, but it just never took.
I have my stuff in Feedly right now, but I'll probably just move it to the Reader app because they have a cool thing where you can you can use Reader's like an RSS app for like Mac and iPhone, and you can put feeds in there just directly, and then your read articles will sync with iCloud. So it's kind of like your own little personal Feedly, but just for that app, which is kind of cool. But no, I've got all my personal stuff in Feedly right now, and all my work feeds are in a Reader, which I'll probably move also because that costs money.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of costing money, but ever so slightly less, Verizon is now doing a cheaper 5G home internet service. Corbin, take it away. This is the one you take it.
So AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon all at this point have home internet service that is on like LTE and 5G. So you get the box that's like functionally a giant hotspot with a router in it, and that's your home internet. And I think they sometimes call this fixed wireless internet as well. That's the other term. But all the big carriers have it, and now I guess it's starting to also show up on their sub carriers, like their NVMOs. So there's now 5G home internet from Total by Verizon, which is the stupid name that Verizon now has for their prepaid carrier. Used to be Total Wireless, which I don't think is better, but so it works functionally the same. I think it might even be the same box. I'm not entirely sure, but you get the home internet box. As far as I can tell, they make you buy the box first, which is kind of silly because you can only use it with their service, as far as I know, which is $100. And then after that, you pay $55 a month for the internet. And they're promising speeds of at least 20, I believe, is the minimum, because that's like the federal minimum for like broadband or whatever. And it maxes out at 200. And I don't know what that's download. I don't know what the upload speed is. So that's the main catch compared to all the other ones that are kind of just like you get whatever speeds are in your area. This is maxing out at 200, which is still pretty fast. That's pretty good.
It's certainly enough for it, like one really good video stream, probably even a couple. And yeah, you can do some downloading. You'll have no problem browsing on that. It's not going to give you the fastest downloads. You definitely don't want. You're not going to enjoy your life torrenting over that. But
yeah, it's still very dependent on how good the Verizon service is in your area. So this is limited also by like address. Like if you say your home is in this area where Verizon doesn't have great coverage, they're going to tell you no, you can't get it. So yes, this is another option, and they have some bundling stuff where like if your phone plans are also on this carrier, you can get this at a discount, which is how it also works at the big carriers. So, and the price isn't like that different than like T-Mobile's 5G internet. I think that's now $60 a month. But this is prepaid, so if your credit is garbage or whatever, like this is an option. And like it's not really that like interesting or exciting on its own, but I do like that there are more and more options for this, even if again they are the same three companies, but it's like, oh, now there's like a prepaid one, and it's cheaper with lower speeds. That's good. Not everyone needs the fastest whatever. This is still going to be better than if you're buying this, is probably because you have shitty fiber or dial-up or not dial-up, like whatever the other one over phone lines is. If your other options like are DSL. Worse, then DSL, so this is a lot better than probably DSL if you're in good coverage. So I like this also because again, all these companies are giving like Spectrum and Comcast like a run for their money, so I can support that. It's like Verizon's not a good company, but like this is probably still good if it makes Comcast maybe lose some customers.
In the grand scheme of things, evil kind of.
This is very much that like bit in Godzilla where the guys like let them fight. Like I'm just gonna like you guys duke it out. That's fine. Yeah. And in the end, some people get faster internet, so that's good. But yeah, I'm fingers crossed going to get a house in the next year and move. So depending on what the options are, I might end up getting one of these 5G home internet services. But I don't know what the options will be because obviously I have not picked a house yet. So
further proof that you haven't been burned out on moving yet. Because
well, it was that was 2021. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And if I'm still in North Carolina, that cuts at like half the annoying shit I had to do when I moved. So it's fine.
Yeah, like at least a good half of the moves I've made in my life just made me learn that every time, or it taught me that the one thing I absolutely want to do in my life is avoid moving more than I have to.
Yeah, those cross-state moves are evil.
Frankly, even when I moved just between places in Las Vegas, that was bad enough.
Yeah, there's so much stuff I have to change. Whenever you move, it's really dumb. It really did give me the perspective. Like, man, it feels like this federalist government we have. It really feels like we have like all the disadvantages of it, and like very few positives. Like, really, I guess the positive is like some states have more progressive policies than other places. That's really it.
No. Well, in that vein, but sort of different take on it, it gives some states the opportunity to show us what not to do, like Texas and the power grid. Look, a cautionary tale is sometimes worth just as much or more.
Austin said, "You go build your personal equity, Corbin." I mean, I don't want to buy a house because that's so much work, but also the rental market's completely fucked up. So I have like, if I'm trying to be responsible, I don't have another option. So, you know.
And one day you can become a slumlord.
Yeah, exactly. Sublease. Let's go.
So yeah, I don't think I really have much to add on this particular story. Wait, why is there a picture of a router in here? Do they make you use a specific router?
That's their 5G box. So that's the modem, and there is a router in it, but you don't have to use theirs, as far as I know.
Okay.
You can, yeah, because like if this works like all the other ones, it has the router in it, but you can also just plug something into the Ethernet port and run your own thing. It's still going to be like double NAT or whatever, so it's not like perfect, but it's it's fine. This is a setup. That's the setup I did at my my mom's house. She has the T-Mobile 5G home internet, which has been pretty solid for her and the rest of my family who lives there. And I have their router plugged into it's the regular Eero 6. So it's got the nice mesh setup that has pretty good coverage around the house.
Cool.
And they're not trying to like, host a torrent server or anything. So they're like double NAT or like whatever weird other network stuff. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Like I said, I don't have really anything to add here. Just kind of carriers doing carrier things, building out their infrastructure even more. But in a way, I do wonder if maybe this is going to be a good thing in the sense that we'll kind of actually free up some of the buried lines for possibly other more valid uses. Hopefully, maybe we'll see. Awesome. Going to Lowe's is the highlight of my Friday. Okay, Saturday too. All right, most of the Sundays.
I mean, Lowe's can be fun. There's a Lowe's close to me. I've been there a couple times.
No, legit. So, without getting into too much backstory or detail, I technically was sort of a home buyer when I was in Vegas. And look, while there were certain projects that I absolutely hated, just gonna say it right now, anyone who's ever laid tile, if you've never laid tile, just trust me, pay somebody. It's worth it. No matter how much they charge, it's worth it. But because man, doing it yourself is awful. But aside from that,
I know I'm gonna be that person. I had to go to Lowe's like 2 or 3 times when my family got a new TV and our old TV was wall mounted, so I was trying to get like the right like screws to also put that in the wall mount bracket, and that was enough for me to never wall mount a TV ever. I will not. I refuse to do that. It's too stupid. So yeah, I'm gonna be one of those people. But yeah, Lowe's. Yeah, I can't do any projects in my apartment. There's nothing to do. But it is nice for like, I've got a couple like organization cabinets there. That's where I bought all my like power cables and stuff. I think I don't know if it's Home Depot or Lowe's or both, but I know one of those is generally cool with like dogs. So I know that's like a popular option when you have a dog and you're like trying to make it not freak out around people. You just, all right, you go in the Lowe's, basket while we're going around.
Um,
Oh, Austin did hardwood. Ooh,
yeah, that's rough times.
I will not.
Um, so yeah, what I was gonna say though is, look, some of the projects that you can do on your home actually are pretty fun. They can be. It's especially like if you're coming from, I guess all three of us can identify with this. If you're coming from that position where your job is sitting in front of a computer, or
Yeah.
otherwise doing very finicky, sort of small, or not small, I don't know what word to use for it, but sort of, let's just say, intellectual jobs, there is something actually nice to be said about just getting your hands on something and working with whatever materials. Like, there is something fun about that.
Yeah, I think I want to hope I could at least paint things. I think I could do that.
Oh man, you know, mentioning that, I don't remember the last time I painted something, but it has been a long time.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think I ever have because I didn't do it when I live with my family, and obviously I can't paint anything here. So
okay, actually, I kind of remember. It was when my it was when my mom worked at a general contractor's office, and they painted the office. I remember going in there. So that was a long time ago. I think I
that
was still under
that
18.
was, that was lead paint, wasn't it, back then?
You know, by timing, no, it wasn't. But given the
Okay.
contractor, honestly, there's like not
Yeah,
it's not unrealistic that they would have somehow found lead paint to
it
use.
was the paint in the back of the closet. Yeah, yeah.
They were cheap. That
The
was very much
closest
a thing.
the closest thing to a project I've done here, besides assemble furniture, is I did run Ethernet from my router to my TV cabinet. So like my Xbox and everything could have Ethernet. And that did involve buying a little staple gun and stapling and running the Ethernet cable along like the trim and a door. Actually, you can see it back there if I turn off my. The it goes from there over there. That's where my router is, and it goes around the fireplace and around the door, and then to the TV. So that took like a couple hours, and I fucked up a lot, and I terrified my dog. She does not like the sound of the staple gun. She was under my bed. She was not having any of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've run Ethernet cable, but more by the um uh not not nicely done. More sort of strung
Yeah.
Ethernet cable, and just mounted it in specific locations so that it's, sort of in place.
Yeah. This was not I didn't do a good job, but I don't think it was entirely my fault. It was mostly that the staples were having a very hard time going in because I got the landlord special with the paint and trim in here, so it was kind of just like going through like part of like the whatever chipped off paint. So I had to staple some parts a couple times, but so.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I didn't care to do much better with the cable I've got running through the house is I have even before I did the cabling the way it is, I have always had intentions of rerouting it a completely different path, and just haven't had time to do that. So one of these days, maybe, but it's going to require rearranging at least 2 rooms, maybe 3, possibly switching Wi-Fi routers, like a handful of other things. So it's a bigger project than I care to take on. At least for now, there's no reason to. So yeah. Anyway, I'm sure we will talk more about your house as the year progresses, or upcoming house, potential house, the someday.
And
house.
when I can't buy it because something stupid happens, like another pandemic. That'd be fun.
Like the worst outcome of the upcoming election.
Yeah,
How's that?
yeah.
How are those plans
North,
to move to Ireland?
yeah. North Carolina actually secedes from the Union again. So yeah, good times.
Yeah. Anyway, so the weird thing is this was one of those transitions I actually had a plan for, and because we've completely gone off the topical rails, it doesn't work. But hey, Plex is getting into rentals. And hello, Carson. So yeah, this is the thing they previously announced that this was going to be happening, but and I swear they kind of already had this to some extent, like with the partner service.
No,
No, okay.
no, no. So yeah, Plex has been on a track of like showing content from like they already have a search that has like a bunch of movies and TV shows with in like their shared database that you can search through. So like if you're on Plex, you could search for a movie and it'll try to show you where you can stream it and stuff. But now they're adding their own movie rental part to that, so you can search for movies and rent them straight through Plex. So I guess this is kind of an interesting option. The one thing that I know someone else at How to Geek reached out to Plex about and got an answer on is they only support 1080p rentals and not like 4K if that's an option. And the price is, I believe, I think it's $5.99 for rentals, which is about what Google and Google/YouTube charges for 4K movie rentals when that's an option. Sometimes that's the only option. So you might not get the best quality here necessarily. Maybe that'll change in the future.
Wait,
but
is it a flat $5.99 no matter what?
I believe so.
So, wow, that actually is
okay.
weird.
They say rentals are priced anywhere from $3.99 and up. The one I was looking at
Okay.
was $5.99.
Okay, I was gonna say, doing that movie roundup every week, I have seen brand new movies come in for like $1.99. And I've seen brand new movies come in for rental. Just to reiterate, this is for rental, for literally $19.99, $24.99 for rentals. So,
I guess the price is going to be identical to like what it is everywhere else, because maybe the movie studio set that, but you're going to max out at 1080p here. So kind of annoying. Maybe they'll fix that eventually. Kind of their selling point here is that it's just in Plex and it works on most of the places Plex is available, so that might be more convenient than like YouTube rentals or whatever in certain cases. So yeah, and I know this is a thing that like a lot of like long time Plex people are like freaking out about, because this is more stuff they will not use. But like I'm generally fine with this. Like I think Plex is doing the thing where they need to make money, and they've sold a lot of those like lifetime memberships that are not recurring. I little bit worried when I see those on sale like every couple months. I'm like, are they okay? This is I don't know what they're doing, but they're able to continuously raise money from Silicon Valley people because they're going like more legit, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So if the price for Plex continuing to function and being pretty good for like your own media collection is they add some stuff that like maybe I don't care about, sure, man. Like you guys get that back. I don't care.
As
This
long
is
as they don't completely obscure and obstruct the thing I'm using it for,
yeah,
then yeah.
yeah. But so far they have not really done that. It's like, oh, you don't, you know, if you only want to search for your stuff, you just turn off like their source or whatever. They're not like winding down all of the other features. So I'm fine with this. I don't think I'll probably, the quality thing would annoy me. So I don't think I'm going to use this, but some people want to. That's cool. It's there. Um, wouldn't mind if maybe they added movies at some point. That seems maybe use or not movies.
TV series.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess renting a TV series maybe doesn't make. I meant like buying. I'm sorry. So buying a movie or TV would be potentially useful. But
Yeah. So, just as a casual random thought, I wonder if there's a way to search this that I can easily do, because I might add this. Oops. I might add this to my movie roundup if I can actually get decent links. We'll see.
it should just show up if you search on the Plex website for a movie. Let me do like Mission Possible.
Well, the question is more, will I be able to link to it? And will searching for it become a complete and total disaster? And actually, I wonder if they'll have actual, like, new movies?
Yeah, I mean, they've said Barbie in the article.
Okay, that's not a new movie. Not by the standards I'm going on. I'm talking about, like, literally first week of release. Because it's, for what it's worth, that does actually matter quite a bit. I'm gonna have.
I'll
look into this.
I don't. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean now. This is gonna be annoying because it seems like the rentals aren't on like the watch.plex.tv website, like their front end before you log in.
Right.
But they show up in the web app.
Yeah. So if I can't link to it, I won't be able to do much with this. But
I see there is a copy link to clipboard button when you pull up a movie. So I'll put this one in the chat.
Yeah. Well, I'll see if I can't. Let's see. I'll see if I can't figure or test this out and figure out like what things are definitely doable, like on day of. I'll just goof around with this for like an hour or so Friday morning and see if any of the new movies hit and are watchable. But hey, that's cool. I mean, good for Plex, I think. I want to say. We'll see. But yeah, also vaguely concerned. Just because, as always, anytime. Oh, by the way, there's a link to this post. There's always that little bit of like nagging concern. Anytime a company does something new that is obviously like, we have a new way of making money. There's always that little nagging thing in the back of my head, like, oh crap, is this about to take over? Is this going to be their like big push? Is this going to be their Google Plus moment? Like, we need to integrate everything with it and then make it our key thing. Hopefully not, but because I relied too much on Plex to have them take over the whole interface with this. Yeah, so anyway, I have no good transition out of this into the next topic, but let's talk about Blue Sky. It is officially open. That happened, what, 3 days ago? 2 days ago?
No, I thought it was yesterday. Yeah, it was
okay.
No, it was the 6th, which was yesterday. Okay.
Dates matter. Okay, so
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, and seemingly overnight they managed to get 800,000 new accounts, which is honestly confusing to me because of how many people. Like, I couldn't give away invite codes at a certain point. Were there really 800,000 people out there like, oh no, please, I want one so desperately, please let me in? And somehow they couldn't find anybody with an invite code. Like, there were plenty. There were a lot of people just literally couldn't give
Yeah.
these away in on Reddit and various other places.
I mean, I think it could have also just been like now that it's been a public website for a couple months now, and now that it's open, you can go to Blue Sky and see like, oh, here's all the people that are here. I guess I'll make an account now.
Yeah,
So that's what I would assume. Maybe it's the brands. I haven't. There's some brands on Blue Sky.
some showed up and then disappeared for what it's
Yeah.
worth.
Yeah, Blue Sky. I check it every so often. Um, it does seem to be like Blue Sky definitely got all the people who wanted to leave Twitter, but didn't like Mastodon. I've seen a couple of those also trickle to Threads, but in terms of like the people I was interacting with, it was like some of them went to Mastodon, some of them went to Blue Sky, and then like four people I know are using Threads. So um, it seems to be where those people went. And I don't like Blue Sky as like a platform. They've already made like some their moderation hasn't been great so far. Um, every I think it's interesting that every time I've seen the topic of like federating or just opening the website up publicly, like a bunch of people were complaining because they liked that it was like a small closed thing that like they didn't have to worry that much about like you know Nazis showing up in their mentions. Um, and yeah, David said, so is Blue Sky going to be interoperable with Mastodon and Threads? No. Blue Sky is still going with their AT protocol, and everything else is now ActivityPub. So it will not connect to those things, which is unfortunate, but that's the way they're going. So they will have their own. I think they're going to open up Federation sometime soon, so it will be technically possible to run another Blue Sky server elsewhere. I don't really know how many people will do that or like what the general reception is. I honestly don't really get the feeling that Blue Sky is going to be around for that long. Like beyond a couple years, because I don't think it's open source. The protocol is, but this is a private company. I don't think the Blue Sky like entire thing is open source in the same way that like Mastodon is or its comparable alternatives. And the fact that it is on the AT protocol and everything else is ActivityPub, especially Threads going for ActivityPub, even though they're being very slow about implementing it. That's going to be like Threads is going to be like, I don't know, 80% or some big number of the people in that ecosystem. So Blue Sky is going to be kind of the odd one left out here.
So, the two different things that I kind of want to address. First, how big is it going to be? Frankly, just because Threads already has amassed a huge number of people. Twitter obviously still leads technically in users compared to Threads, but realistically, I mean, Twitter, the odds of it sticking around for the long haul are not good. Elon is obviously losing money hand over fist with this thing. Twitter is
Blue Sky is definitely the one that like was sort of the winner of, I think, the like centralized Twitter alternatives. In not counting Threads, because I think that was
Yeah, I
kind
was
of like
gonna
a
say.
different development path. Like that's mostly like Instagram people coming over. Um, this was more
I mean,
like
that
out of
still
all
makes
the
him the
like,
winner.
yeah, I mean it does, but I mean like in terms of like the 20 Twitter clones that all showed up within like a couple months of Twitter going insane, it seems like that was the winner in terms of that. Um, Mastodon got a huge jump in users, and obviously it's still very active over there. That's where I spend the most time, but it has been declining the past couple months. Like basically every server admin's like, oh yeah, we don't have as many active users as we used to. Um,
So, I think they're. Oh man, this is almost forcing a third topic, but um, I think in practical terms, Threads did get obviously the most, the hugest number of new users. Yes, some of those are people who weren't on Twitter before, and they came over from Instagram. They're, but I think they also just acquired a ton of people off of Twitter, especially because if you're paying close enough attention to certain personalities, there were a lot of personalities who very specifically made it clear that they hopped onto Threads. And rumor had it for sure that plenty of those people probably were paid to say something, or at least strongly encouraged to say something. So I think it benefited quite a bit from that.
yeah, Blue Sky is definitely. I get the impression that like it's a lot of people who went there direct from Twitter, and it's a lot of people who tried Mastodon a little bit
Mhm.
and just didn't click, and so they went there instead because that is more directly like Twitter.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, I'll agree that Blue Sky I think was sort of the secondary winner from Twitter, as long as you are not counting decentralized, in which case obviously Mastodon, or the whole federated scape. I'm gonna call it Fedescape. Um,
Okay, that's the worst name, but go ahead.
well, Fediverse was worse.
Yeah, it's
That
not
is a
good either.
terrible name. But yeah, eh, if we're not counting decentralized, then Blue Sky for sure was the second place position, because none of the others, and there were a handful of others, none of them did well. I think a couple of them have already either shut down or they're basically fully ghost towns now. The counterpoint is, by and large, Blue Sky, like a lot of the bigger names that joined early on, disappeared already. This article, I think this is the article, maybe it was a different one, highlighted that like uh, Chrissy Teigen and oh, I forget who the other person they mentioned, but a few of the people that joined really early on have just gone completely dark. And apparently even Jack Dorsey isn't using Blue Sky. So
Yeah, well, that's. I think he. My understanding is that he kind of clocked out of Blue Sky a long time ago because he has the other one that he dumped money into that I don't remember the name of because it doesn't matter.
no.
So
So, all said and done, I mean, good for Blue Sky, I guess, but yeah, I'm not sure that this really matters. And like you mentioned, obviously Mastodon, the user or the active user count seems to have been dropping off for a lot of those people. What I think is happening, and this was predictable, this is something even we all said it just in various ways. The thing is, you need to have one place. It sucks. Well, you need one place or one network. And what sucks about that is if you go to one place for, let's say, ideological reasons, or you're following a particular group of people over to one place, let's just say In this instance, let's say it's Blue Sky. If something brings you to Blue Sky, and then somebody you wanted to follow goes to Mastodon, and someone else you want to follow goes to Threads, well, now you have to follow on 3 different apps or services, however you see it and however you use it. You're following on multiple places. Not all of them implement everything very well. Blue Sky's app and web app are famously still pretty terrible. Which is how? Like, they've had a lot of time. It's weird that they don't have those things in better condition. Though I would argue the Threads app and website are also not very good, and holy crap, they've got plenty of money to have wasted. But how do you enjoy the service if what you're constantly doing is hopping between them, and something you post on one is only going to be seen by people on the one? Does that mean that you cross post all 3? A lot of people don't like that experience, and it's also not allowed in certain cases. Like if you are still sticking around on Twitter, for example, they're very anti cross posting. But when you put it all together, I think this whole thing where Twitter screwed up and pushed everybody away has done a thing where it basically made a lot of people say, you know what, I just don't need this. People get tired of having to maintain this many outlets. So I have a feeling it's just kind of made certain people sort of tune out of this entirely. Like, they tried Mastodon or they tried Blue Sky or multiples, and they just don't have the activity. They don't have the thing keeping them coming back. So they went over to start watching more TikTok, or maybe they just tuned out of social networks entirely and decided to catch up on their Netflix watch list.
Go outside.
Yeah, go touch grass.
Go outside. Go read a book.
Go outside and look at a real blue sky.
I've been trying to read more books, but unfortunately, I'm still on social media.
Sorry, that reaction just had to be made.
Austin said, "Save us, Google. You're the only one who can solve such a mess." Yeah, bring Google Plus back. That's what we're all saying.
Oh man. You know what I need to have? I need to be able. I need to integrate like an AI image generator, into the RambleCast, just so I can like type a prompt and have an image appear perfectly like overlaid or something. Because right now, 100%, a Jesus in robes with the Google Plus logo would have absolutely been my go-to.
The return of Google Plus. I think it's funny that I'm sure part of the reason why it's even like slightly fondly remembered is the fact that it never had ads, because Google never got to the point where it had like enough users where they could justify selling ads.
I kept making the point that basically to everybody who was on Threads, just wait. You like it right now, wait until it's an ad every other post. You won't like it then. And does Threads have ads all over the place yet? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never made an account because you still need an Instagram, and I don't want an Instagram.
Let's see. Well, I already had it Instagram, so just hopping on right now. Let's see. Not that anybody cares, but I'm gonna show my feed right on screen and see. Oh, I wonder if do I need to turn off my ad blocker first? that might be important. Okay, refreshing with the ad blocker disabled. I feel nervous going to any Facebook property with ad block disabled, so sorry, but this panda is kind of great. Sorry. There's a video of a panda in the snow, and he's rolling like Wrecking Ball from Overwatch. It's sort of great. Okay, anyway, enough of that. I am not seeing ads.
Mm.
So that's why people are still
Eventually.
liking this service, is they do not yet have a ton of ads.
Austin said Chinese propaganda. Yep. And pandas are propaganda, for sure.
I mean, I can buy that argument. Look,
They were
cuteness.
invented by the Chinese Communist Party.
Hey, a cute thing is a cute thing. Don't ever deny that. Yeah. So, okay, I'm not,
Propaganda, yeah.
but I'm not seeing ads. So,
Austin, Propaganda is like so close to an Ubuntu release name. I can feel it.
so yeah. Anyway, this strikes me as a thing that's going to get a lot worse. Still, I maintain that to this day. The moment that they start showing ads on here, it's all going to get ugly.
Yeah, I've seen they've had a couple moderation snafus. They've had, and
Everyone's going to.
yeah. I mean that's why like that alone doesn't mean anything. But like the vibe there definitely seems to be like, oh, we like that this was a small exclusive club, whatever. I don't know. I don't. Every like for-profit social media platform has just turned to shit. It just, how long does it take? It either turns to that or like goes into like frozen development or dies. Like Tumblr is now in that zone where it's passed through a couple companies. No one can figure out how to make money from it or keep it alive. So Automatic's got it now, and they said like a couple months ago, like, oh yeah, we're just gonna keep a couple devs on this, and that's what we're doing with Tumblr because nothing worked. Everything they like changed to try to make people to try to get more money out of it just made people leave. So it does seem that like stuff like Mastodon is I have no doubt that like Mastodon will stick around for decades, or not Mastodon itself, but like that ecosystem, because it's already been around for a decade. Like this goes back to like the like older like OStatus projects, because Mastodon didn't use ActivityPub at first. You used whatever was the thing before that, and then when ActivityPub started, it kind of switched gears to that. But yeah, no, like that. So that whole ecosystem has been there for forever. Like that's gonna stay there. It's probably gonna stay niche, unfortunately. You know, it's gonna be the Linux of the social media platforms. But I guess it also depends on how the threads interoperability goes.
Yeah.
And I was writing a big long thing about like threads and federation stuff, and then I deleted it because I was like, no one wants to read this. This doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I don't know. Going back to kind of that theory of what's going to happen to Blue Sky, I think they're going to see an increase on users. One of the other things you did bring up, and I kind of wanted to come back to, was the bit about it being open source. They did announce that they're working out plans right now to invite a select number of people to start up other servers. And they weren't clear on how that was going to work. I don't think they were even clear on whether or not they were actually had started making these invites, or if it was more just, well, we swear we're working on a plan for doing this, and then just leave it at that. It's unclear where they're at, but I get the distinct impression that there's probably a path in mind for doing this. I think they're gonna have to share some code just to so that they're not just telling people, here's the protocol, good luck. I mean, they could do that, but honestly, if they do, I think they might be shooting themselves in the foot on any sort of notion of this being a federated thing.
I mean, like, because this is the issue, right? As soon as they start doing more than one server, um, they they instantly inherit all the issues that Mastodon has.
Yeah.
So then you get the complexity of like, wait a minute, what server are you on? Like, I have to type in your whole thing. You get the the admins are having power tripping battles between each other, and I just lost half of my follower list. So I don't know. Like I don't want to be like, don't compete with the thing. Just give in and adopt their thing. But I don't really see their what they've got going well there either. I don't really know if the AT protocol is like a better protocol than ActivityPub, but it also kind of seems like it's now the beta max of the protocols. Like as soon as Threads picked ActivityPub, it was kind of over. So I don't know. I don't know where this will go, but in the meantime, Blue Sky has a lot of users. It seems to be doing okay.
Yeah. And also, I think it just bears saying, for right now, they have a lot of users.
Yeah. Eventually, it will have to make money.
Yeah. Well, not only will it have to make money, but let's see how many of those 800,000 stick around and stay active. Let's see if this brings any new ones back who previously went inactive. Let's see if this matters in, say, 3 months. Will Blue Sky really be suddenly active and relevant? Is it gonna just be a thing that kind of had its couple of peaks and then just fell off? And who knows, will they actually have money in 2 years to keep this project going? Because all of these things are really big mysteries, and right now all we know is Jack Dorsey is missing. So
that's the best thing he can be doing.
It probably is.
Just fuck off. Go somewhere else. No one wants you around.
I don't know. He has his fans. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but he has his fans.
No. He's Jack Dorsey is definitely like the pioneer tech bro of like, I don't know, let's just hear him out. Every time like Twitter had a massive moderation issues, like, I don't know, man, like free speech something, I don't care.
Okay, but come on, you gotta respect one thing. He saw Peter Dinklage's beard and decided to copy it. Sorry, I had to. Oh, okay. Well, escaping this stupidity, let's talk about a different stupidity. So there's now a picture of the presumed Pixel Fold 2. Maybe. It is a little bit, this is one of those things where it's a leaked picture. It's a single leaked picture. It's blurry. It's actually been censored in several spots, and all that can really be said about it is you can see the camera bump, which is big, ugly, blocky, and awkward. So this, as the giant watermark indicates, this was leaked by Android Authority, or shared with Android Authority. Unclear who leaked it. Yeah, the blur on the finger is hilarious. Yeah, I agree. Because in the reflection, the person who's taking the photo, I guess they're holding a phone, you can see that they have blurred out a spot on their ring finger. So very obviously they're hiding the fact that they're married and trying to hide the specific stone. Or whatever's on the ring. So they're at least paranoid enough about that too. Anyway, I I don't have particularly strong thoughts about this, except it's ugly. That being said, if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm not convinced that this is final, or even close to final. It could be. It very possibly is. But this also looks very much like sort of early prototype material. Um,
Yeah, I mean, because isn't this different than what was leaked for the Pixel? What's the next Pixel? 8?
Pixel 8.
I'm
Or sorry,
sorry.
9.
Yeah, okay, 9. Yeah, because the Pixel 9 leaked and it didn't look like this.
No.
And they usually, obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a variance because these are developed in different cycles. So one of them is going to look maybe like the one that's coming or the one that came before it maybe, but it doesn't really look like the already established leak.
Well, okay, what's sort of funny about it is the Pixel 9 camera bump looks very, very similar to the Pixel Fold 1 camera bump.
Right.
And for obvious reasons, pretty much everybody, I think, originally expected that the Pixel Fold 2 was going to look very similar to the Pixel Fold 1, but, slightly tweaked, because naturally, why not? This seems to be the brand design for, a couple generations. And yeah, if this does turn out to be real, that's a very strange choice to say, yeah, we're going to release one brand new phone that looks like last year's folding phone, and this year's folding phone is going to look totally different, because sure, why not? I mean, they can do that. There's nothing stopping them, but it also just doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, I mean, Google just always makes sense, so I don't believe that.
Yeah. So, and look, there are reasons why a camera bump in this style has some advantages. In case anyone has never noticed this before, for example, on a Pixel, as you change zoom levels, obviously because it's laid out in a strip, you have a little bit of a perspective pop between different zoom levels. That's not surprising. Anyone could expect that. If you have a camera that's more squared off like a traditional camera bump, like an iPhone has, and like this leak shows, then you get less of that. It's still technically there, but it's a lot less noticeable, hopping between certain zoom levels. How much does that matter? Honestly, I don't think it does. Unless you're really paranoid about zooming through in video, actually having video recording as you change zoom levels. That's the only way that this matters. It doesn't matter for photos, really. And so I don't think anybody cares about that. Or very few people should. Otherwise, I just think that this, if it's real, is probably too ugly to release. More likely, and I do mean this very honestly, I think this is just a prototype that got leaked. Yeah, and when I say prototype, I mean not a finished product prototype. I mean, we've put the final board, camera sensors, and a few other things together in a plastic case, and that's what we're releasing here. Honestly, I don't think that this is the final release product. But obviously we'll see.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah.
I can do one more and then I probably have to take off.
Oh, good, because there is only one more topic.
Oh wow.
That actually worked out.
We'll talk about this for 2 hours then.
If we talk about this for 2 hours, I'm going to very likely lose my mind. But the Biden administration now requires large cryptocurrency miners to report their energy use. See, told you there's no way we're talking about this for 2 hours. I'm just gonna say what I believe to be the short version of this story, because frankly I don't think we need to get too mired up in what the full explanation is. The reality is, a report came out, I believe it was yesterday or maybe it was the day before. A report came out saying that crypto mining was using 2% of the national electricity. Like, full stop. Like, crypto miners alone were responsible for this. And so I'm pretty sure that this particular report basically hit just as we're obviously having a notable energy problem in multiple states. And as electric vehicles, one of the big talking points is how are we going to fund, or how are we going to be able to power them, and so on and so forth. Like, there's constantly a discussion of where do we find the electricity for various things. And here we have a completely nonsensical, laughable industry, if we'll call it that, that is literally just burning power so that people can make fake money, or what they perceive to be fake money. It's now technically securities. We've reached the point where we're calling cryptocurrency security. But they're making securities that require tons and tons of energy just to manage. So at this stage,
we don't need to go over how this is stupid. This is established.
Exactly. So, I gotta say, show of hands, who thinks the Biden administration is doing the right damn thing?
I don't. I think we need to drone strike the facilities. Actually,
I mean, I'm not opposed to practice.
Like, what else are we gonna do with those? Like kill people in foreign countries? Come on, the cryptocurrency mines are right there, and they're stationary targets. This should be easy.
Let's be honest. So are the people who are running them.
Yeah.
Those people haven't stepped out of their mom's basement in forever. But the thing is, Corbin's lips are out of sync with the audio. Huh. That's odd. I don't really have a good
it's
way
actually
to fix that.
My body.
I imagine are mine too. I would think so, but I do not know. If so, that probably is an OBS problem, and if I could fix it, I would. Oh, weird. Okay. Anyway, well, we'll just soldier through because there's not much time left anyway. But yeah, so I'm in favor, obviously, of this. What, at least at this stage, what's going to happen is this is just reporting. Nobody is strictly saying that anything has to change. Instead, basically, if you're using significant amounts of energy for crypto mining, then you have to start reporting your energy usage. That's the state that we're in right now. Whether or not this ends up becoming part of a crackdown, or maybe there becomes some sort of regulatory push to manage how the electricity is used, or perhaps there will come a point where somebody says, if you're using non-renewable energies, then it's over for you. You have to move to renewable if you're going to do this. There are a lot of possibilities here. It's honestly like, who knows? But
yeah, and like, even I know the renewable energy thing gets brought up a lot here because a lot of these plants are built like next to old coal plants. And
well, not next to, they're part of old coal plants.
Right. So like these places that stopped generating energy in an efficient way that was needed a long time ago got brought back up for just for this mining operation. So a lot of them do use renewable energy, and the argument I've seen there, and I know this because when I wrote negatively about it in the past, it gets like, you know, hurled at me like, oh, but they're using renewable energy, so it's fine. Well, that renewable energy could sure as heck go towards more capacity for everything else. Like just because it's off to the side powering this thing, like what if those plants were instead like phasing out more of the like other gas plants and other stuff?
Yeah.
Like really the only version of that argument I can get behind is like if the crypto miner people like build their little operation and then also build from scratch like solar farms around it, whatever, fine. Like, you know, you did that all yourself, whatever. It's still stupid, but you can do that if you want. But I don't think they really do that because there's no way that would be profitable, uh, especially if the clouds come.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there
yeah,
there
no,
are certainly different angles
stupid
on this um, where it becomes less offensive for certain things, but for the most part, yeah, I'd rather. There's a part of me that does see a narrow argument to be made, and very narrow. If they want to do crypto mining, and they're willing to build energy production on their own, and it's all renewable energy, and in the event that that energy is needed for other purposes, okay, great. If you know what, if you want to do this with any excess energy that you generate out of let's say solar, and it's not needed elsewhere, great, no problem.
yeah,
I have no objection to that. But
yeah, the extra energy part also makes a little bit of sense to me because we don't have good like energy storage mechanisms in a lot of the US. Like that's notoriously difficult. I know that's a thing that like we're starting to do with
like old Tesla batteries.
yeah, old Tesla batteries. I know that I think Tesla Powerwall was like building plants in like Australia for that purpose. So like yeah, I mean if we're at like, you know, peak energy capacity, whatever, the nuclear plant over there is going full steam, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, so the way I see it, kind of bringing up an unusual policy. A lot of people actually don't know about this, but if, for example, if your property has a pool on it, and there is a fire somewhere nearby, fire departments basically just have the right to come in and suck the water out of your pool to use to put out a fire. This is I don't know if that's technically how it works every place, but I know it's actually a fairly common law in most areas. So the way I see it, same story goes for crypto and the power generation that they go through. If they're producing power and there's a need for power, then their crypto operation needs to shut the hell down while that power gets used. So logically, there's, you know, we basically need to if crypto mining is going to exist in any capacity, it needs to be part of a solution rather than just a thing that creates new problems for everybody else down the line. And right now, they are objectively more problem than solution.
Yeah, and like there's probably other stuff we can be using excess energy capacity for, or researching better ways to store power so this isn't like a thing in the first place. Because yeah, in the end, like Bitcoin specifically has completely failed in what it's supposed to do. Like you cannot have a currency that takes like hours to do a transaction. That's insane. It's
for the way
only,
they sold doing it. Yes.
Yeah, its only purpose is like illegal stuff, or you know, a different stock market. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things.
I mean, I still maintain that if this were a thing where large transactions between banks, like if that's how it was being used, okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. But when
Right.
it's
There's better implementations of this,
yeah,
but they aren't popular. Like the one that it's still like Bitcoin and Ethereum that gets used the most because that's the one that has the most value. So that's what gets pumped repeatedly. So it's all scams. I'm still not touching it.
yeah.
Even though it was tempting while Bitcoin was being pumped for a couple months there, I did not.
Well, it just keeps going
I
through its
have some
cycles.
standards, not a lot, but I have some I have some morals left.
Okay, Valnet employee number.
As many morals as I can have while hoarding money for a down payment.
Yes.
Uh,
So
Austin said, "I'm announcing my 2028 campaign on the single issue of protecting my pool water." Still better single issue than Yang. I almost forgot his name.
Andrew Yang.
Andrew
Well,
Yang.
his original single issue was pretty good. UBI was a solid argument. His new
More than
single
protecting
issue
pool
is
water, though.
fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, our pool water apparently is going to be pretty critical in a few years,
Yeah.
so you never know.
That's gonna be California's only water source.
Pool water. Oh God. Well, hey, no, they're gonna have leftover water from the rain they've had this week. Reminder, in case anyone hasn't heard this, they've literally had in one day their entire year's rainfall in one day. So
In LA. Yeah.
yeah, sorry, in LA and surrounding areas.
Which is basically California. Like, what else is there?
There's still a San Francisco. There's still a San Diego.
I'm being silly.
There's still Mount Shasta, damn it. Anyone who's ever been to Mount Shasta, you know, it's quite beautiful. But there's no one that lives there. Anyway. Yeah, so I don't think there's a lot more to say on this, but yeah, this is one of those things where we really, really just like cheers to a crackdown or the start of a crackdown. We'll see how far this goes. Obviously, there could be a lot more happening here someday, but
Yeah, this isn't enough, but also this is the first step.
Yeah.
For like crack, because like you can't really do a lot until you have like data about this stuff. So
well,
it's good we have data now.
They certainly could do a lot. I mean, they after the report of it using 2% of the national electricity, like they could straight up just say, yeah, no, we're banning this. If you use over a certain amount for crypto mining, you're breaking the law. They could do that, but it would infuriate a lot of people. It would probably end up in front of the Supreme Court as everyone's fighting it. All the crypto bros would be losing their minds over this. That, you know, it's better if you're approaching this from a position of actually having some data to work with. So, you know, I'm okay with him taking a little bit of a slow approach on this, but I'd also like to think that in 6 months, or hopefully less, there will be a more clear, like, okay, some things need to start changing, and more things may change someday. And if some things change, yay, video cards might actually be purchasable for real.
No. No, the crypto shortage stopped, or the crypto GPU shortage stopped a while ago. Now it's the AI GPU shortage.
Yeah. And I can't wait for for it to come out that AI is using like 4% of our national electricity.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's insane.
Truthfully, I'd be surprised if it wasn't already. And I don't even say that with any sort of sarcasm or hyperbole. I genuinely think that with the data centers that Google, Apple, Meta, and a couple of others, the data centers alone, I bet, are chewing through at least 4% of our national electricity. Because their data centers are way bigger than a lot of these crypto miner operations.
Yeah, every time you make a silly picture on Dolly, you murder an endangered animal, basically.
Corbin, how dare you? How dare you take away my Jesus wearing a robe with Google Plus logos all over it?
My God-given right to destroy the environment.
Yes. Oh, okay. Anyway, see, what did I say? This didn't have to be a long topic. Anyway, that's all I have to say on it. Would you like to add anything?
Nope.
Well, in that case, would you like to pitch anything other than the spacebar, which you have already pitched? You can do it again if you like.
I don't really have anything, but yeah, go
listen to Tech Tales.
Go listen to Tech Tales. I have an episode done. I'm trying to bully someone into recording it. See where that goes.
What's this on?
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Oh, okay.
That's not the topic. That's it.
I was gonna say, man, if we're doing movie stuff,
it's not a movie.
Oh wow. Those are some images, Austin. Anyway, cool. Well then, to those out there who haven't already heard, this show is at least partially supported by contributions, and they are
partially supported by the crypto mining farm. Cody's got it back.
Shh! Don't tell.
That's 1%.
Yes.
Of the 2%.
Anyway, so if you'd like to support the show, it really does help immensely. There are links down below to Cash App, Streamlabs, and Patreon. And of course, huge thanks to those who already support the show. Carson, Austin, David, Diablo, and Curvy Mermaid. Anyway, with that, we're gonna be ending this one. We're wrapping up. We're done. So we'd love huge thanks to everyone for coming by, hanging out, being part of the conversation. We love you all, and I will be back on this weekend with some Fall Guys for sure, probably some Overwatch. We'll see how it goes. And next week with some more RambleCast. So I believe that about covers it all. Thank you to Carson, David, Austin, Corbin, also, of course, for showing up and being around. Anyway, thanks everyone again, and good night.
Bye.